Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our lesson number 124. Day 124, we are in the process of solving word problems from day 101, 101 through 200. Let's see what we have for today. Here's the question. Mike is 3 years older than his brother Billy. Billy should have two L's in it, I believe. Not that it matters. So Mike is 3 years older than his brother Billy. The sum of their ages is S years. We are told that if you were to add up their ages, age of Michael, who happens to be 3 years older than his brother Billy, if you add up Mike's age and Billy's age, it adds up to S years. S for the sum. Question is, how old are they in terms of S? A very typical question that you will find on SAT, if you're preparing for SAT or GRE or GMAT, something like this would appear. And the question simply is, how old is, well, of course in the real exam they would not ask you how old are they will say how old is Michael or how old is Billy in terms of S. There are two ways. This problem can be solved in two ways. There are two ways we can tackle this problem depending on your point of view. We can use either Mike as our point of reference and talk about Billy, how does Billy compare to Mike, or we can use Billy as our point of reference. If we're using Billy as our point of reference, then we're asking ourselves, how does Mike's age compare to Billy's age? And we are told that Mike is 3 years older than Billy. So if you're going to use Mike as a point of reference, then Billy is going to be 3 years younger. If we're going to use Billy's age as point of reference, then Mike is going to be 3 years more. Either way you can solve this problem, and we're going to do both ways. Okay, so let's get going. I need a lot of room, so I'm going to erase everything here. You have obviously the question, and you can obviously always rewind it. I need the room, so I'm going to erase everything on the blackboard, and we're going to do this question in two ways. So first solve it by using Mike as a point of reference, and then we're going to solve the problem using Billy as point of reference and compare the answers and see what happens to the answer choices as our point of reference, our vantage point changes. Okay, I need the room. So, here we go. Mike as point of reference, and here we have Billy as our point of reference. So let's first solve using Mike as a point of reference. Since we're using Mike as a point of reference, let's pretend Mike is M years old. Let's pretend that Mike is M years old. Well, if that's the case, if Mike is M years old today, then that implies that Billy must be M minus 3 or M plus 3? Remember, Billy is young. Well, it's gone, I erased it. Billy is younger. We were told that Mike is 3 years older than Billy. So if Mike is 10 years old, the Billy would have to be 7. If Mike is 20, Billy would have to be 17. If Mike is 100, the Billy would have to be 97. Because Mike is the older one, he's 3 years older. If Mike is M, Billy would have to be 3 less. Billy must be M minus 3 year old. Now, we know that their sum has to equal S years. Therefore, if I were to add up this guy's age, M, plus this guy's age, Billy's age, M minus 3, it has to add up to S. S is some quantity, unknown, we don't know what it is. That's what makes it algebra. If we had numbers here, it wouldn't be algebra, it would be an arithmetic question. It would be too simple. Too simple, in fact, so simple, in fact, that nobody even bother asking you the question. Unless you happen to be 6 or 7 year old. Alright, so let's add up. We have M here and M here, so that's 2M minus 3 equals S. Now remember, we were asked how old, what was the punchline? What was the question? How old are they? How old are they? We have to first solve for M. M is Michael's age, so we're going to express Michael's age in terms of S. And once we have Michael's age, who is 3 years older, from Mike's age we're going to subtract 3 and we're going to get Billy's age. So let's go. How do we get rid of this 3 from here? We have a negative 3 on the left hand side. How do I get rid of it? Add 3 to both sides. So positive 3 and negative 3 cancel out and we end up with 2M equals S plus 3. Now how do we get rid of this 2 from here? Divide both sides by 2. Voila. So this gives you M. Because the 2 cancels out. M equals this guy right here. So that's it. That's Michael's age in terms of S. Now let's find Billy's age. Billy is 3 less. Billy is 3 less. So we take this quantity, S plus 3 over 2, and subtract 3 from it. This is too crowded because I'm saving the other half of the blackboard. Because I didn't want to do it once and then erase it and then do the other method. We want to be able to compare both the methods side by side. This has a denominator of 1, this has a denominator of 2, so common denominator is going to be 2 here. So we have S plus 3, and then 1 goes into 2 2 times, so it becomes 6. And we end up with S plus 3 and minus 6 minus 3 over 2. That's Billy. I don't know if you can read that low, so I'm going to read it to you. Billy turns out to be S minus 3 over 2. Michael turns out to be S plus 3 over 2. S minus 3 over 2 and S plus 3 over 2. This is where people get confused. Why does the 3 appear here and here? They can see why we have to subtract 3 from here because Billy is younger, but why do we have to add 3? Because that's just how things work out. And we can quickly verify our answer. Not only that we can quickly verify it, but we should verify it. It is a good idea, it's a good practice, it's a good habit. So you must always go back and verify your answers in algebra because it's doable. If it's doable, then it's worth a few extra seconds to go back and check your answers by plugging in numbers. So let's do that, okay, very quickly. Let's pretend that Michael is 10 years old. Well, if Michael is 10 years old and we are told that Mike is 3 years older than Billy, then Billy must be 7 years old. You see, 10 minus 3 is 7. Billy must be 7. Let's see what the answers give us here. Let's see what we get here for the answers. I'm not going to actually do out all the work, just stay with me here. We're just plugging in 10. We just plugged in here. Where does this 10 come from? It fell from the sky. We just made it up. So if Michael is 10 years old, Billy would have to be 7. Their sum is 17, which is what they're calling S. S is 17. S turns out to be 17. So let's see what this gives us here. 17 plus 3 is 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Voila, you see, Michael is 10 years old. That's what this expression gives us. This expression is the right expression. This expression is the correct expression because it gives us the value that we had plugged in. This one here, s minus 3 over 2, 17, which is the sum, minus 3, 17 minus 3 is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Voila, Billy is 7. That is the correct answer. That is the correct answer. Now we want to see what happens to the answer choice. What happens to the answers if we were to use a different point of reference. Let's use Billy as a point of reference. Let's use Billy as a point of reference. Let's pretend Billy's age is B years. Just pretend that Billy is B years old. If that were true, then Michael would have to be 3 more. B plus 3-year-old. Why? Because we are told that Michael is 3 years older than Billy. If Billy is B years old, whatever the value is for B, we do not know. Whatever the B happens to be, we will have to add 3 to it to guess Michael's age. Now we know that there are some of their ages, that is, which is B plus the B plus 3. We are told that this sum equals S. Let's simplify it. This thing that I just wrote should have lined up with this thing so that we can follow the work here. I'm going to do that. The sum equals B plus 3, which equals S. You see this, so you can compare the two. Let's combine the two B's together, so we get 2B's plus 3 equals S. How do I get rid of the 3? Well, just like we did here, except here we have to subtract it. Minus 3, minus 3. This is a plus 3, this is a minus 3, they cancel out. We end up with 2B equal S minus 3. How do we get rid of this 2? How do we get rid of this 2? Well, divide both sides by 2. And then these 2 cancels out, and Billy, this is Billy, turns out to be S minus 3 over 2. S minus 3 over 2. Oh, Jesus, this is freaky. This is freaking me out. This is the exact same thing as that. Of course, it's the exact same thing. I'm being silly. That's the whole point. The answers are not going to change. It's just a different way of doing the core problem. Just because you do problem a different way, a different method, it does not change the answer. The answer is absolute. This is mathematics. This is not a matter of mood. Answers in mathematical problems are not this or that just because you happen to be in this mood, or this just because today happens to be Tuesday. They are absolute. It doesn't change. That is the age of Billy. S minus 3 over 2. Let's find Michael's age. Let's do Michael here. Michael we know is 3 more. So this is Billy's age. S minus 3 over 2, and he's 3 more. It has a denominator of 1. This has a denominator of 2. Let's find the common denominator of 2. So we get S minus 3. And then this 3 becomes 6. Voila. Here we have S minus 3 and a plus 6. So we get S plus 3 over 2, which is Michael. Which you'll see is the exact same thing as here. It has not changed. Of course it has not changed. It cannot change. The answer has to be the same. It's just a 2 different way of looking at the world. 2 different interpretations of the same thing, but it doesn't change the thing itself. You were looking at the world from the point of view of Michael. I was looking at the world from the point of view of Billy. But world is what it is. Now when I say point of view, it's not like the meaning is not in the sense of our regular language, where it does change the point of view and the interpretation. In mathematics, facts are facts. They don't change. Do you understand? So anyway, so there is Michael, S plus 3 over 2. And we could do the same exercise as before if you like. We could do the same exercise by plugging in numbers, and you will see it will work out just the way it is. That's all. I'm done for today. Today was lesson number 124. I will see you tomorrow on day number 125, where we'll talk about some workers having to do certain job. It has to do with time problem and how long it takes them to do certain job. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Day number 125 tomorrow. Thanks.